Hey, welcome back to Case Break Analysis. I'm JT with another Case Break simulation. Today we got 2022-23 Upper Deck Series 2 hockey, and I have to apologize for being slightly late on this one. I know you guys are probably already buying into breaks, buying this product, but I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting from hockey collectors in particular. I do appreciate the support from everybody, obviously. Football, baseball, soccer, everybody's been great. YouTube can be a cesspool for horrible comments and such, but I've gotten awesome support and I really appreciate that. So I did want to do this product, even though I know it's a little late, just in case people can find it useful. Another, as usual, disclaimer, I'm going to give you a bunch of advice and a bunch of tips on this product. If you make a purchase based on my advice, that's on you. I only give this disclaimer because I don't want you to think that I'm telling you to do anything. I don't want you, the collector, to come after me, whether it's comments verbally or whatever, thinking that I'm saying to do anything. I'm not. You make purchases on your own. But what I hope to do with these videos is make it less like gambling and more like informed purchasing. So what is Upper Deck? Upper Deck Series 2 is the follow-on to Upper Deck Series 1. It's their premier marquee set. Upper Deck has been producing cards forever, not forever, since 1989, and they've been producing hockey cards since the 90s, and Young Guns has been a part of that the entire way. And Upper Deck really is, in my opinion, their base series are defined by the Young Guns set. I don't know that I could identify a lot of iconic base cards that are veterans, but the Young Guns cards, boy, those are where it's at. And that is going to be similar to the rated rookie and Don Russ for Panini. That's going to be similar to the rookie card, the Topps base rookie card for Topps. And these are really an iconic set of, and they're actually part of the base set. They're numbered in continuation to the base set. So they're not their own set. So it is very much like Topps rookie cards. But they're Upper Deck. So there's a lot of buying options for Upper Deck series. They have the hobby boxes, obviously, which is what this is for. I have filtered out exclusives for the other types, just in case you're wondering what the hits might look like for tins, blasters, gravity feed, and fat packs. I've filtered those out. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I will run this in the opposite direction. I'll filter out hobby exclusives. But this is for hobby because I feel like the majority of the people who watch these videos are people who want to buy into breaks or buy hobby boxes. So then the canvas cards is a cool subset in my opinion. I think it is popular. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a variation. And one thing I like about Upper Deck is that they don't water down their base series, their standard series with a bunch of parallels. They do have some parallels. They have a French parallel. They have an exclusive parallel. A couple other ones. And the canvas is a version of that, even though the canvas is a separate set. And it's cool. It just kind of feels and looks like it's on a canvas. It's like a canvas painting. So I like them. Added them to this What Is This product. And then rookie memorabilia. They don't have autographs in Series 2. At least that's not what the checklist showed. And they don't have veteran memorabilia. They have rookie memorabilia, and that's it. Everything else, I like that because they're like, let's keep it simple. Well, they have a lot of insert cards, but for the most part, they're just kind of giving you what you want, which is definitely the rookies. And to some collectors, that might not be what you want, but there still is that base set. There's that, if I'm a Blackhawks collector, so if I want all the Blackhawks, I could still buy this and get what I'm looking for, but I can also get rookies and have them be collectible and get them graded and things like that. So this information here you could screenshot if you want to read it. Or pause the video. It's just from GTS. This is kind of the marketing stuff from Upper Deck. I do want to point out that in most cases I can make a mathematically close guesstimate or estimate about the print runs. With this, I wasn't really able to. So I took a stab at kind of just guessing how many cases they might produce. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but if I just went with a rough guess that they would produce 2,500 cases of hobby only, and then, the blasters, tins, and stuff, I didn't extrapolate on those. Just hobby, and what that would do is give a just over 20,000 base cards. And the reason why I went with that number is because that's pretty close to where all the other products are at. A lot of times 2,500 cases is a little bit low for products like this, but I didn't want to go really far past 20 to 30,000 base cards because I have no idea. That's per base card, not total. That's per base card. So I didn't want to go too far. And so what you'll see in some of these numbers is those assumptions, but they're equal across all players. So it's still the ranking of how many cards per player is still relevant. So keep that in mind. Just because I had to make a guess on some things like the base set doesn't mean that the information's inaccurate. It is totally accurate unless they, for some reason, have different print runs for different players, but they don't. Usually that's in the checklist. So, and with that, I will say you're going to get 8 cards per pack, 24 packs per box, and 12 boxes per case, with the assumption that there are 2,500 cases. Then I'm able to use the pack odds to kind of determine some of these other non-serial numbered cards. So there's guesses in here. They're educated guesses. They're calculated assumptions. It's an approach that I've taken. You can't always get the print run, and some people have asked me about the print runs. So in this case, there are some unknowns, and that's just what it is. But I'll still tell you about this product. So in a box, you're going to get 6 Young Guns, you're going to get 6 inserts, 4 canvas cards, 2 portrait cards, 2 honor roll cards, and 1 French parallel, which would include a Young Gun if that, that extension of the base set to Young Guns will be part of the parallel set as well. And in a case, there are some case hits here. We don't get in every box, but on average per case, you're going to get 6 of the high series or program of excellence parallel canvas cards. Base set clear cut, you're going to get 4 of those, 3 regular and 1 Young Gun, which I did account for in the simulation when you get to that. I accounted for all of this in the simulation, so it should all be accurate. The Calder candidates, tons of rookies in this set. Greetings from, you can read it. I don't need to read it to you, but these are all the gold parallels. You should get 3 of those per case. Highlighters of yellow or orange, 2 per case, and rookie materials dazzlers. So that's just for the pink. There's a lot of other dazzler variations. So here's what they look like. Upper Deck base is good. It's going to be like all of your other kind of base, Donruss, Topps, Panini, Upper Deck. They have a base set. It's simple. It tells you what team they play for. It tells you who they are. It tells you what position they're on. And then there's usually a couple variants, parallels of that base set. In this case, there are 4 or 5 of them. And then, it's simple. Usually an action shot of that player. And in Upper Deck's case, instead of having the rookie card logo, they have the Young Guns. And this is a canvas version, but it still looks like the regular. So the Young Guns is the rookie card for most of these players. And Series 2 has 50 different rookies than Series 1. Honor Roll, that looks good. It's a good insert. It's kind of got an action shot, but it's, the background's taken away. Calder candidates, Lunchbox Legends. This is an interesting card. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I haven't really decided. Obviously, a lot of color is good, and if you're trying to go for some of the shock value there with things like Donruss, I think it's Cities or Hometown or whatever it's called. You have a lot of wild color and stuff, and so Lunchbox Legends looks interesting, but I don't know if it's gonna stick around. Highlighters, yep, got highlighter color borders and stuff. Highlight the name. You got green, yellow, pink, orange on that. Population count is supposed to mimic a graded slab, and then the population count, the pop count, is how many of them there are. So it's basically serial. I don't know if it actually is serial numbered, but it's a serial. It's telling you, hey, there's 50 of these, and it goes down to 1, and I think it goes up to 1,000. I think that's up here. Let's see, pop count, yeah, print runs 1,500, 150, 225, 10, and 1. And so so that's what it is. It's just, I don't know, that's kind of a dumb design too, but I get it. It's cool. You got to come up with something, and I think, like I've said before, Upper Deck has the best insert cards of all of the brands. They make the most sense. They usually have the most information. Pop count just might not be it. Rookie materials, that's going to be your memorabilia. There's going to be several different types of memorabilia. I think a patch, a regular jersey swatch, and maybe some sticks or something. I'm not sure. Fluorescence, yeah, a good one to do parallels with. There you go. There's what the 1 out of 5 looks like. So these are $1,400 cases for hobby at Steel City. Again, I use Steel City because I think that price has a reasonable markup from what the breakers are going to get. So that's around. So all of the reason why I even tell you the price is because what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the distribution of cards by team. So you know kind of what should you pay when you buy into a break for this product. And so I spread $1,400, $1,399.95 over all the teams that are in this product. And so that's what I'm going to show you here. Now, there are no autos, and usually my code, the code I write for this, is very dependent on autos. So I had to change a lot of things. That's kind of why I'm a day late on this, because there are no autos. And so what I think people are going to want most are the young guns. But I'm going to show you for the memorabilia and the inserts as well before I get to the young guns. So if you're interested in memorabilia cards, if you were what this is saying here is here's the number of unique cards for that team. There are 87 different memorabilia cards for the Coyotes. And I got that from some comments. Thank you for leaving the comments on how Coyotes is pronounced in Montreal. We say Coyotes here in the United States. But there's 87, but if you look at the print runs, there's a lot of low print runs. It's up to 455. So that is the total number. If you were to buy every case, if they did have 2,500 cases of this, if you bought them all, you would get 455 Coyotes. And so what you want to do is if we treat all the memorabilia cards as an equal price, then you would pay about $144, or if you're a breaker, you would charge about $144 for the Coyotes. That way, it's an equal, because again, this is something that I can't stress enough. When you're buying into a break, and this doesn't apply necessarily to the people who buy hobby boxes, because you're not buying a team. But when you buy into a break, you're not buying the potential of a card or a player or that team. What you're doing is you're buying the probability that that team will have a hit in that product. So we would treat that equally. You buy probability equally. You don't buy a card because Connor McDavid has an autograph in some insert set. If it's a 1 of 1, your probability is super low. So you can't go ahead and pay the future cost of that Connor McGregor. I did that last time. Connor McDavid, you can't pay the future cost of that card if you don't know that you're going to get it. This is a Schrodinger's cat situation, like I explained before. It is both in there and not in there at the same time. So what you preferably would do is pay for probability. And to do that, you need to treat things on an equal scale, oftentimes. Now, that doesn't always apply, and I'll show you a table where it does matter what the checklist strength is, and we'll get there. So if this is for the memorabilia cards, and I'll go through this. This is 1 through 10, and this is 11 through 21. 11 through 20, man, I'm having a rough morning. And then this is 21 through 30, and there's the end there. So those are all the teams by memorabilia. Now let's look at by insert cards. So these are non-autograph insert cards. And the team with the most, and again, there's some assumptions here that are making it 17,000. Tons of insert cards, and most of the base insert cards aren't serial numbered. So based on 2,500 cases and the pack odds that they list on the checklist, I was able to kind of extrapolate out to see how many there might be. And then I add that with the number of cards that are serial numbered. So there are 79, many of which I'd say probably each player has 4 to 5 unnumbered inserts, and then they have all of those 4 to 5 insert sets that they appear in have serial numbered parallels. And so that's what this is. This is the print run added together. So for non-auto insert cards, you're getting, you want to go after the Blue Jackets, then the Coyotes, Flyers, Kings, Canadians, and you can look down that. And these are prices that you should pay. If you're interested in like the lunchbox cards, or you're interested in certain other insert sets, this is what you would do there. And this does not include canvas, and this does not include the portraits, because those are parallels Well, actually, portraits, it does include portraits. Sorry, it does include portraits because that is different. But the canvases are parallel, so that would be in the base, which I am not showing here. Okay, so there's 1 through 10, there's 11 through 20, and there's 21 through 30. So go ahead and screenshot that. Use that. This is information that you should be using when you're making a purchase. So then we could go buy Young Guns, which is the important one. This is everyone's hanging out for. You've probably already scrolled the little slider bar past all that other stuff because you want to know about Young Guns. So if you want to buy into the Young Guns, you want to buy the Canadians. They have the most Young Guns cards, assuming, this is an assumption. So what I did here was, if there's a 20,000 card print run for the base set, that would cause my computer to crash because what I do is I create a row for every single card. I basically say the print run's 20,000, create 20,000 rows. That would make this an insanely long process. So I scaled it back and I said for base cards, base veterans, let's just say 3,000, even though we think there's 20,000. And let's go 2,000, even though we think there might be 20,000 for the Young Guns. So what you're seeing here is still equal across all the teams because I didn't change it by player. All 50 Young Guns still have, I said 2,000, and that's just because I didn't want the processing to be crazy. So this number might actually be in the 20,000s. These numbers here might actually be 20,000 or more. But the numbers that kind of fall in the last 3 digits, the last 4 digits even, those are going to be the more accurate side of this. So like if I assume the print run for the base set is 20,000, but I actually put 2,000. So this, let's just use this number here, the Vancouver Canucks. Then you can assume that it's accurate up to 2740. And then because I assume 2,000 for the print run of the base, I know this is confusing, but I want you guys to know that there's probably a lot more than 4,740 Canucks cards, but it's an equal assumption across all the teams. So let's just go with that assumption here and you can ignore the exact number and just know that the team with the most cards is the Canadians. And then the second is the Senators, Flyers. This order is correct. So these are the teams. And if you really want a lot of Young Guns cards, now again, it doesn't include checklist strength. Then you want to go with Canadians. So there's 1 through 10, there's 11 through 20, and there's 21 through 30. So there are some checklist cards that have 2 teams on them. Ignore the kind of configuration of the cities there. That's just from a concatenation that I had to do. That Upper Deck does. They're like the only company that splits the teams across their checklist instead of just putting the city and the team together. So concatenation in my code doesn't work all the time. So now we want to talk about checklist strength. So I have added auto value to kind of the strength of the autograph checklist to my videos, but this doesn't have any auto, so we're just going to leave that blank. What I've done is I've developed an algorithm. If you haven't seen my videos before, if you have, skip ahead a minute or two. If you haven't, I developed an algorithm that basically says how popular are players, sports cards, and memorabilia. If they're very popular, then you probably will get an ROI. People are searching for it. People want to buy it, and you'll sell them quickly. So a 4 or 5 is going to give you a profit, and 1 or 2 is going to be selling at a loss. This is for investors mostly. And if it's a 1, it probably won't sell at all. And we'll see the distribution of the checklist across players for this scale. But just know that what it means is you're either going to make money, break even, or you're not, or you're going to lose money. And that's the key to these products here. And so I develop it and I spit out a quantitative score. And that quantitative score for autos is nothing because there's no autos. But for the entire product across all the players, it's a 3.3. Usually this score means a lot, but because this product is so heavily focused on Young Guns, a lot of these players don't have a lot of popularity yet because they haven't either made it to the NHL or a lot of people, they kind of haven't proliferated through the collecting world yet. So, and if Young Guns is their first card or close to it, they wouldn't have a lot of searches for their memorabilia. So this could actually wind up being a much larger number in the 4s maybe, but it's a 3.3 based on current times. And, I just try to give you empirical data so you don't have any of my biases included in here. So that's what you're getting here. So we're going to look at Young Guns right off the bat. The team with the best Young Guns checklist is the Canadians. As far as the strength of people looking for those players, it's by player, that algorithm works by the name of the player, and then it aggregates them by team. So, and if a player has multiple teams, it's separated. Those scores are separated into the teams that you would be buying. So it's representative of the teams that you would get in a break. So the Canadians have the best checklist strength by team, and then the Senators, Sabres, Coyotes, Canucks, Flyers. And that's 1 through 10. And so here's a reasonable price you might want to pay. If we distribute the cost throughout these teams by strength, so it's not just equally, every Young Guns card equally costs the same. It's $1,400 US spread across all these. So make sure you do that conversion. I always forget to say this is US, not Canadian. I should probably do a version for Canadian dollars. So there's that. There is 11 through 20 for Young Guns. There is 21 through 30 for Young Guns. And then there's the last page there for Young Guns. Now let's look at the breakdown by inserts. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. So there you go. This is the checklist strength by inserts. The Flyers have by far the most strength, the best checklist of insert subjects, the people, the players that they've included in the insert sets. The Flyers, Blue Jackets, Coyotes, Canadians, there's 1 through 10. There's 11 through 20, and there's 21 through 30. There's the last page there, mostly these dual team things. And the ranks here, when you see 0, is just, there's none. I'm not sure why they would be higher than these. Oh, well, the rank's different. It's 12. So the ranks where there's none, they should be at the bottom. And there's 37 rows, 35, 36, 37 have none. So there you go. So that's accurate. Now let's go to the memorabilia, the rank by memorabilia, and the Coyotes, Kraken, Sabres, Wild. I'm interested in some Kraken memorabilia. That'd be pretty cool to see. So if you want to buy your into breaks just based on that, and I don't think you're going to get too many per case, so be careful there. Probably don't spend this amount just because you think you're going to get a memorabilia hit. But if you do, the highest likelihood, the highest probability of a hit is going to be the Coyotes. And the Kraken, there's 1 through 10. Just take screenshots. That's why I do this. So you could take screenshots, then you could look on your phone later or your computer and say, okay, here's the team I want to buy and how much I should pay. Who's the best team overall? The Canadians. They have the best, strongest checklist, the best checklist of players, the most print run of cards. And again, a lot of people think that the best cards are going to be the rarest, and that's true when you're making a purchase of a single card. But when you're buying into a break, you're not buying the rarest. You want to buy the most common. You want to buy the team that will give you the most hits, the highest probability of a hit. So that would be the Canadians and the Sabres. So overall, checklist strength, Canadians, there's 1 through 10. There is 11 through 20, 21 through 30, and then the last page, got those guys there. So there's that. Now, the popularity metric that I've developed where people are searching for their sports cards and memorabilia online, and I developed that metric. This is the distribution of my scores 1 through 5 based on the checklist here. So by far the most in the 3s. And the reason really why it's kind of a normal distribution like this is because of the rookies. Because like I said, some rookies don't have a lot of popularity yet. Some have a lot of popularity. And most of them kind of just have an average, just nice, even average search. And a lot of those, and this should exclude out like fantasy players just looking for statistics, things like that. This is specifically for sports cards and memorabilia. So this should be pretty indicative of the market. Okay, so there you have that. And now let's talk about the master checklist. And now, even though I did make some assumptions, this is new. I haven't done this before for any video, but actually I'm going to tell you for the Young Guns, this is just for rookies, how many players or how many cards per player there are. And so let's just go to, so unique base, I made some assumptions here. So unique base, that's going to include all the parallels and the canvas. And so here's the kind of extrapolation of just saying, okay, there's an assumption here that there's 2,000 base cards per player. And so they should all have the exact same number. So base isn't really going, this is just assessed from the print run calculations. Whereas inserts is a little more accurate because there are serial numbered cards. So they're going to be different. So if your top player here, Jordan Spence, and I don't want to go through all 44 pages of this, but I'm just going to show you the top. This is 1 through 10. 11 through 20. We'll just go. This is for insert cards. This is by player. So if you're in a player break or you're in a team break and you're looking for a certain player, I'll just start back at page 1. These are the guys. These are the people you want. Here you go. Page 2, page 3, inserts. Page 4, inserts. Page 5, inserts. So I'm going to just go to 5 pages and call it. And then if you need to know, if you need to know how many cards an individual player has, that's going to get a little weighty if you put that in the comments. But I appreciate it. If you want to know, let me know. And if it doesn't get out of hand, I will give everyone the number of cards per player. So for memorabilia cards, Shane Wright has the most. He has 7 unique memorabilia cards and 120 by print run. So there you go for that. That's page 1, memorabilia. Page 2, memorabilia. Page 3, page 4, page 5. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for your screenshots. Just take those screenshots. Now let's talk about Young Guns. Young Guns is the most important one. Who has the most? Well, there's going to be a lot of the same. 2370. Let's see if there's like any. Yeah, it's just going to be the same because they're all the parallels and stuff. But there is. Oh, this one is less because there must be not a parallel. So let's just go back to the beginning here and say they're all the same. 2370 for Young Guns. So really, you want to. It's an aggregate by team, which in this case is going to be the Canadians. So there you go. So that's by player. Hopefully that was helpful. If it wasn't, let me know. This total cards by team. Again, there's assumptions here that some of the print runs of the base set and some of the insert sets are a certain number based on the pack odds. So keep that in mind. But this is still accurate in the order it's in. The Coyotes have the most cards. Canadian Senators. So there's cards by team. This is the number of unique cards in the set. There's 215 different Coyotes cards. That's parallels. That's inserts. That's base, Young Guns, memorabilia, everything. 215, but there's actually over 40,000 individual cards after print run. And again, probably more because I'm thinking there's like a 20,000 print run of the base set. So there's all 4 pages of that. Screenshot that along the way. Number of cards by print run. So ignore the higher print runs, which would be on page 2 anyway. These are probably pretty accurate here. This is definitely accurate. There are 1,470 one-of-ones. I believe there are 4 different printing plates per base card. So that right there gives you 400. And then 50 gives you another 200 for the Young Guns. So, the number of one-of-ones in this set is pretty high. I think once you hit 1,000, that's where I consider it to be a little high. Once you hit 2,000, it's too high, in my opinion. One-of-ones, while getting a one-of-one of the player you want is very, very difficult, getting a one-of-one, period, is actually not that difficult. So in Upper Deck Series 2, I think it will be rare for a case to not have one. But there will be, about 1,000 cases that don't have a one-of-one in it. There will be some that have multiple one-of-ones. So then there's by print run. Now, if you want to know print run by team, the Coyotes have 83 one-of-ones. The Blue Jackets also have 83. And then we can go down the list like that. These are the teams. This column here are the one-of-ones. Who has... So if you want to buy a team specifically to hit one-of-ones, these are the teams in the order you should consider them. There's page 3. So I only really go over the one-of-ones here because the other ones don't really matter. So card types and quantities. This is just to show you what's the rarest card. Well, the pop count 1 parallel, that is an insert card. It's a print run of 1, and there are 30 different variants. That is by far the rarest card here, and that's of all players. So if you get any pop count 1 parallels, you've received the rarest card in the set, because the next rarest has 40 unique one-of-ones in the set. So this is just to show you the rarest sets, not the individual cards, because obviously a one-of-one, pop count 1 of each player is going to be their rarest card in the set. But this is just by set. Hopefully that makes sense. Then I simulated this and did it by what the odds were, the pack odds, as well as what they said was going to be in each box. So I showed you earlier, I'll even go to it, that there's going to be a breakdown of this configuration per box and this configuration per case. So that's what I do when I do the simulation. Take the checklist and I figure out all that stuff, and then I run a simulation with a randomizer to stick within the parameters of those box hits and case hits. And here's what the results would be. This just shows you what the 20th simulation was. I run it 20 times, and I show you the 20th case. That's one case, number 20. And then I'm going to show you the aggregate of all 20. So I actually got a bunch of these high gloss parallels numbered to 10, but I didn't get any 1 of 1s in this case. But you'll see as I go to the 20 case aggregation that I did get a bunch of 1 of 1s. So there's some good low number stuff here. 25s, there's 40s, there's 100s. There's no autographs. So there's some good stuff here. Fluorescence, blue, blue, blue. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, because they only tell you insert. So I had to kind of just label it as such. But that's the simulation. It doesn't mean a lot to you until we get here. So when you simulate one case, there are, of course, going to be anomalies, things that happen in one case that may not happen in every case. That's why I show you one case and 20 cases. So in this case 20, I got the most Oilers cards, then Kings, Penguins, Sabres. And I got the least cards of these teams. 10 of the Red Wing, this combo, and 11 of those. And that's likely because these are checklist cards or something in the base set. And there's over 2,000 base cards per case. So you're going to see a lot of repeat. You might actually be able to complete maybe 9 sets of base cards per case. Does that seem right? 2,000? Yeah, you might be able to complete about 9 or 10, maybe more complete sets based on a case. So if you're looking for complete sets, just buy a case if you can afford it. So these are the teams that I got the least number of cards from, most number of cards. So there you have that for one case. Now, like I said, I didn't get any 1 of 1. So this table, no rows found. But notable cards, let's see. What did we get for rookies? Well, we got some portrait silvers. We got some of that. We got these people here, these players here. So I show that there's actually 7 pages just of like rookies and stuff. Let's see what kind of young guns we got in one case. See if that is representative. Got 1 clear-cut parallel, 2 canvas, some exclusives, French, 4 French. That's what it was, and then a bunch of the base. The rest are all base, I think. So there you go, 79 young guns in all for that case. Does that matter to you? I hope it does, because that's one. But what if we want to kind of tease out and smooth out the anomalies? Well, let's just look at all 20 combined. So 420 cases. I don't do any drugs, but it was funny to see just put the numbers 420 together. But for all 20 cases, aggregate. Sorry, that is totally just a stupid comment. But for the 1 of 1s that came out of the 20 case break simulation, we got 30 of them. So as I was saying before, there are going to be multiple 1 of 1s in some cases, and in some cases, like case 20, there's none. So here they are, and I'll break it down by team below, but we got a bunch. You got 30 1 of 1s in 20 cases. And the reason why I say that is because now what we could infer from that is that you'll get 1.5 1 of 1s per case. But again, that's on average. That means you can't get a half a 1 of 1. So some cases will have 0, some will have more than 1. And some will have 1. So here are some of the notable cards. I don't know. Let's see. Clear cut parallel young guns. Let's just look at young guns because I think this is for all rookies. Actually, let's look at see if we got any material cards. Yeah, we got 2 rookie materials. That is these 2 guys. And then we'll just move on from there. So there's a bunch of stuff. That's just notable cards. I don't even know why I show that, just to see what kind of cool stuff we get. Sometimes there's some pretty cool stuff in there. So for all 20 cases, not just one, when we tease out the anomalies, we got the most cards from the Kings, the Knights, the Canadiens, the Penguins, Lightning, Oilers. Those are the teams that when you aggregate all 20 cases and you say, okay, how many cards by team did we get? This is a more realistic approach than just saying, well, the Canadiens have the most cards, so I got the most Canadiens. Or I should pick the Canadiens, because that could be based on some insert set that there's a high print run on. That could be based on base cards that there's a high print run on. And when you really boil it down, the Kings actually gave us the most cards in 20 cases. So that is a realistic, anomaly-proof way to kind of see which teams you might want to buy, give you the most cards, the most bang for your buck. You spend money on the kings for a break, you should walk away with the most cards on average. And then here's the teams with the least number of cards in 20 case break simulation. This is not for the whole set. This is just in 20 cases. So then for the one of ones that I got, which I mentioned before, I will break down by team. 3 came from the Flyers, the Maple Leafs, and the Capitals. 3 each of those teams. Then 2, then 1. So in a realistic simulation of 20 cases, these are the teams that showed up the most for one of ones. So if that matters to you, go ahead and buy in. If not, hey, we showed it to people who care. And then the card type, this is the results for 20 cases by type. Obviously, we could sort by base, but who cares? For insert cards, we got the most from the Coyotes, the Blue Jackets, Flyers. You can go ahead and look at that. We got the least from these teams. Okay, and then for memorabilia, we got the most from these teams and the least from these teams. Well, we got none from those, the least from these. So take a screenshot there and use that. Now, rookies, obviously, you want to know where we get the most rookies from. In 20 cases, when we pretended that we opened 20 cases of Upper Deck Series 2, we got 145 Canadians. That's the most. And then the following teams. And we got the least rookies from these teams when we opened 20 cases. So there you go. That is the results there. Now, do you care what my opinion is? I hope you do, because I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you my opinion. I think Upper Deck is one of the most collectible base series of all the brands. Series 2 is no different. It's kind of like a high number, but just Series 2. It's I think it's creative. They have unique inserts. The overall set looks great. I think that Upper Deck should explore the idea of a chrome version of Upper Deck. That would be kind of cool. And then you can start introducing way more color parallels to the Young Guns set. I don't know if hockey collectors want that, but I think that'd be cool. Historical significance is there. They've been producing since the 90s, and I think they've developed a reputation. Even though they lost baseball rights and football and stuff, they have a good reputation amongst the collectors for at least producing good quality cards. I think Upper Deck was like an answer originally to Stadium Club. They had good photography, and the pictures went all the way to the edge, but now they're not simple, but they're the standard flagship product, if you will. And so that's it. They produce the most sought after, where the Young Guns are sought after. Obviously, the higher end you go, they're going to be more valuable, but that doesn't mean they're more sought after. And so who should buy this? Well, I think everyone should buy Upper Deck Series 2. I think that if you're a casual collector, go ahead and get retail. You're going to have tins and blasters and things like that. But yeah, buy into bricks, buy into hobby. What could you lose? Well, you could lose money, but you'll have cards. You'll hit something. And if you buy one blaster box, you'll have probably at least one Young Guns card that might be valuable. Collector on a budget, stick to retail, I think. Don't avoid this one. If you're a collector on a budget, this is the product you should be going after, because the cost is low, the risk is low, and the payoff, if you get it, it could be huge. I mean, you could get the next Connor McDavid Young Guns card and get that thing graded for a 10, and all of a sudden you're in the money. You're not a collector on a budget anymore. You're a baller collector that just hit big. So you could hit in blasters here. So collectors on a budget, go buy that retail stuff. Slab people, go all in on this. If you love getting things graded, that's what I mean by slab obsessed. I'm going to probably change that to great people who get things graded, because I always explain it. But if you love to just send things into PSA, Beckett, SGA, and those types, get as many cards. Go buy breaks, buy retail, buy hobby, buy singles, whatever. Because you're going to send it in to get all those Young Guns cards, get them all graded. Why not have the pop count? Speaking of pop count, just be like an insane number. Investors, yep, this is a good product to buy anything and everything. Set builders, you probably could build the full set off retail. Get a hobby box, you might get even closer. Kids, yes, this is a good product for kids. They could ruin these cards if they wanted to, and it wouldn't affect the market pretty much at all. And team breaks, yes, buy into team breaks. Random breaks, typically I'm cautious of team breaks, because if you buy a team that gives you low probability of a hit, you're wasting money. And if you get, you might pay a mean or a median number for to buy into a team break, and you could get the best team, and that's great. That's called gambling. And if you want to avoid gambling, buy team breaks, because that is the way to go. Random team breaks in Series 2 for Upper Deck, not so bad, because even if you got the worst team, you're still probably going to walk away with a decent amount of cards, because every team has a lot of cards in the base. So there you go. That's it for Upper Deck Series 2. I hope you liked it. I'm still looking at adding some of the suggestions you guys have made. Just tinkering with the code and also having to work every day kind of hinders some of the progress there. But take it for what you want. 2022-23 Hockey Series 2 Upper Deck. Thanks for watching. See you all on the next release.